It was a very tough match. We fell behind again, 6-3 and then 7-5, when they actually had an opportunity to make it 8-5, and they opened the door for us on an 8-ball, and we played perfect from there on.
We saw the match of them before against England. They played perfect, so we thought, okay, we have to give maybe 150%. We didn't expect that they make some easy mistakes, and we took the chances and won the match.
I mean, Albin just became runner-up at the World Championships where I played him. So he's red hot. They steamrolled China, who were also playing very well, so they're a very tough team to play in the semis.
I think they are one of the best teams in the world, and also Niels is playing very great this year. So let's see what will happen.
We reached the semifinals, so now everything can happen, and of course we want to win now.
So one finalist confirmed, the second yet to be confirmed. It's the favorite Holland versus the young guns Austria. Tough one to call. The break was very pivotal in the last match. One can only wonder if it's going to be the same storyline here in our second semifinal.
Well, do not underestimate Austria. They're going to provide some stingy opposition for sure. Although you definitely would have to say that Team Holland is the favorite in this match.
A race to 9 racks. First rack, Austria to break.
And the Dutch side, as we see Team Austria, Mario He, been playing fantastic pool to this stage, as is his partner Albin Ocean. And they know how tough the Dutch crew is going to be in this one. And I have a feeling that nobody would know the Dutch team any better. As we see one more look at this break, one of the very few dry breaks, illegal breaks in fact, that we've seen so far. A number of racks have been played here on finals day, but no one knows this side better than a man that we're very happy to have joining us in the commentary box. Rico Dix making his way down from London. Rico, you know this event very well. You actually played back in 2007.
I did. Good afternoon, gentlemen, everybody at home. Welcome to this amazing semi-final lineup here, and what looks to be an amazing match. Happy to be here and super excited.
And of course, that was with the Dutch team. These are all your buddies out there. You come down to cheer on, and your partner in that instance was Alex Lely, wasn't it? It was played in Rotterdam.
Yeah, the other one of the Dutch quartet, I guess. We didn't do so well then, but let's get to the match here and see what Nick is faced with.
Well, Alex has been so instrumental in Niels Feyen really upping his game and adding that tactical aspect to his game in the last 2 years, something that Niels really didn't have for the longest time.
And he might need some of that here. I don't know how much you can see of the pink 4. Yeah, the potting angle is not available, so I think he might be able to stop the cue ball right where the 4 is now and maybe send the pink 4 rails around to hide behind the orange.
Very nicely played.
They've been doing all those drills for many months, and talk about, Rico, how when you add that side to your game, what it does for your confidence and your ability to win matches.
I think it gives you confidence even when you're snookered like this, like Albin is right here. Knowing the diamond system, not necessarily inside out, but knowing how these tables work, that every time you come to the table, you're actually hopeful of hitting it, possibly hitting the right side of it, and possibly getting something from it offensively or safe-wise.
Just for our viewers at home, the diamond system Rico refers to, you see all those diamonds on the side of the table, down the rails? Those are reference points that these players use when they're getting in and out of snookers, and also getting down the line when they're playing position. Can he get through this? very close.
Extension.
Looks like he can hit it, but I don't know whether he can see enough to be able to knock it in. No, but he can just hit it.
Yeah, problem might be as well, since the pocket is in his line of sight, that the double kiss may be on, that the 4-ball coming back off the short rail may double kiss the cue ball, so he's got to avoid that. Did that. It was all a bit up in the air. I don't think they're getting away with this.
Big chance now for Austria. They have to approach this semi-final as though they've got nothing to lose, simply because Holland will be prohibitive favorites in this. And I mean, they've had a great run. It's easy to say, though, isn't it, guys? I mean, you get a little greedy. You know, you're in the semi-finals of the World Cup. Why wouldn't you believe in yourself?
Well, as Albin said in that pre-match interview, you're in the semifinals. Anything can happen at this point. Any team can win. It's getting here that's the hard part. Just have to hope that you get a few lucky rolls. You play your game. Both these guys got some serious game too. In the finals of the World 9-ball this year, Albin had Niels early on. Niels was a bit nervous and shaky, but Niels finally got his emotions in check and outlasted Albin in a brilliant, hard-fought matchup. I expect this to be really hard-fought as well. There's no way you're going to see the Austrians get routed here.
First rack goes to the underdogs, Albin and Mario. It's a race to 9 to see who will oppose England. And their record in the history of this event didn't play back in 2006, the inaugural year. But you can see quarterfinals back in 2008. They've gone one step better than that, and so far they're in uncharted waters.
That's not a typo there, Ocean and Ocean. That's Albin played with his superstar sister
Leading by 1 rack to 0.
last year, Jasmine Ocean.
Yeah, one of the top female players in the world.
So Rico, have you had a chance to sort of check out the progress of the break this week and how they were, you know, some players been going for that cut break in the side and then others have been pounding it? And
I've been paying very close attention, actually. It's been different every day, I have to say. I think the table, the racks, the way the refs are racking is slightly different from day to day, which is a good thing. It makes it more unpredictable. But I think Holland have been the most consistent breaking wise and making that yellow one into the side. Haven't necessarily been lucky on wherever the 2 ends up. I think they outsmarted Germany yesterday in that respect. But Austria is very smart with the break as well, since the Europeans play it on the Euro Tour all year long, with the 9 being racked on the spot. So it'd be really interesting to see what happens here, but no run out after this break of the Austrians.
there's a dry break. And Holland calls a push out.
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised if Austria took this. I think Holland's going to be coming out of their chair. I mean, the safety, it's pretty straightforward, really. But again, you'd rather have your opposition shoot it, because it's just one of those shots where things can go wrong. Not much can go right.
What's the safety you see, Jim?
Well, just banking it up as we look from our perspective here, just banking it up towards the 3 balls on the right-hand cushion. Maybe even try and duck in behind, but not too sure what Nick's idea is.
He actually tried to play it off of either the black or the 3 to try to make it and get the cue ball back down for the blue 2. None of that worked.
Yeah, no, that, I mean, I just saw the replay of it. There was no way that was, I mean, for me, that wasn't even on. So I think he was just using one of those to try and keep it safe. And see it again. I mean, he would have needed the finest of contacts on either of those colors to get the one in the corner. But I think he was just trying to get the cue ball behind cover.
Out.
Now, the type of game that they're playing right now, Enrico, I'm going to ask you, this has got to favor the team with experience, in this case, Holland.
I think, yeah, team with experience, but I think team with the more knowledge of the safeties in the kicking game. And I do believe that Nick and Niels have more knowledge than Albin and Mario, as well as in yesterday's match against the Germans. Although yesterday they played quite a few loose safeties, actually, the Dutchies, and gave away some chances. But I think all in all, if there's a lot of safety involved, I think Holland would win most of those battles.
As the balls sit right now, the problem ball, it does offer a bank, will be the 4, the pink 4 on the right-hand side of the table as we look. That's the one that isn't in an open position. So even from the 3 to the 4, not much on offer apart from a bank.
I think the only thing that's possible now is possible to cut the one in the corner and load the cue ball up with a lot of left-hand spin to try to dislodge that pink 4 there, and kind of hoping to not get stuck behind the 9 for a position on the blue 2, but that's a bit risky. Actually, don't know what they're going to do here. Let's find out.
Well, it appears that is on. But again, this table is far from easy.
Well, the last thing that you want to do, if you're a supporter of our number 2 seeds, Holland, is you don't want to let Austria get their tail up. And you know they come in here, they believe in themselves. You don't want to start letting that belief filter into the crowd as well. Well, the 4 has been developed, but, and it's a big but, the position was always going to be risky. Now, can he get this off the cushion? He's going to have to really load the cue ball up with a ton of right-hand spin as he looks.
Yeah, the only good thing about it is that the brown 7 and the orange 5 are stuck there, as you can see there on the right side of your screen. So even if this goes astray, it's not a definite loss of rack.
Nice touch there. Yeah, it doesn't get him any advantage, but it's certainly pretty to look at, isn't it?
Yeah, and they've got the shot on the 3. It's potable, so very difficult to get the correct angle on the pink 4 to try to break open that cluster, but at least try to get close to it and see what happens after that. That might be very good. He's going to end up 2 straight.
Geez, he's got the angle here. If he
might
wants to, he might be able to draw right into that 5 and 7.
Yeah, it is possible. It's so straight that he does have to create a lot of speed on the cue ball and direction, because it's absolutely not the natural direction for the cue ball to draw back to that brown 7 and orange 5. Let's see. Oh, what a shot.
That is brilliant. These are just the kind of racks that can give you a nice boost of confidence.
Absolutely, they really had to puzzle this rack, and yeah, some good shots, man.
Couldn't have played that shot any better. And if nothing else, that's one of those efforts that sends a little message to your opponents. Half a chance when they came to the table, and it looks like they're going to convert it.
Yeah, and also important not to go 2-0 down. I mean, so a lot of times I would say that, a lot of half the book is written in the first few games of what happens in a match, and even though things can turn around, but you really have to be on it straight from the get-go Holland with a little bit of a tough shot. At least Niels can load it up with bottom left to come 2 cushions out for the 9, and he could stroke it fully. That's the only advantage, but he wouldn't like to be bridging over the 9. Very solid.
They're hoping they see a few more 9s just like this. 1-1, Holland and Austria. And a great clearance from Holland there. Some terrific shot making. A little bit of cat and mouse earlier on. They bought the opportunity.
Well, this pair has, their confidence is flying, especially after that match against Germany last night. They were behind. They came back. It was a real testy, nervy match, and they won 4 in a row, 4 on the trot to win that match. And I talked to them as they got off the table, and you could just see how pumped they were. So they know that they can, they have their eye on the prize, Holland.
I think it's pretty nice, too, when you look at a team like Austria that they know very well, the Dutch duo, and, you know, they've got to believe that if they bring their A game to the table here this afternoon, it's got to be good enough.
Yeah. Niels has won 7 out of the last 8 events he has entered. Rico, that's like unprecedented in this sport.
Yeah, you really don't see that happen, especially with the formats being played in all the world tournaments, meaning short races, same as here. So you know, there's a real possibility that you can lose to normally an opponent who might not be as good as you. Niels here couldn't figure out the break. It's very dry.
You know, you talk about how things have changed from one match to the next. In our first semifinal, we saw very few dry breaks or illegal breaks, and neither one of these teams have been able to solve this table with regards to the break as yet.
It appeared that in the first semifinal, both teams were sort of abandoned that the one ball going to the side pocket, and they were trying to get it down in the corner pocket because that kind of hit allowed them to get a better spread and make more balls to avoid the illegal break. I don't know. Did you notice them change up anything?
I didn't see much of the first semifinal as I was making my way down here, but I think it also has a little bit to do with the fact that Michaela's racking the balls now, and I think the previous match Nigel was racking the balls, and you know, working with the gloves that they're wearing, actually, you know, it looks nice, but to get grip on the balls and for them to rack them better, it would actually be better if they would ditch the gloves, even though it looks pretty. But I think that might be a small difference. But yeah, the team to figure it out the soonest is going to have the advantage, because running 2 or 3 racks without your opponent getting to the table, that might be the winning block in this match.
That's a good point.
Nice shot from Nick there. Positioning Niels ideally on the 2. He's thinking 3 shots ahead now, from the 2 to the 3. He's looking at the angle from the 4 to the 5. Opposite ends of the table, but they're there to be taken.
Yeah, I think it's really important for the Dutch side, possibly for me knowing him a little bit better, that Nick settles down, and a rack like this with the balls in the open and the cue ball at the moment exactly where they want it is a good thing for him to settle down. I think Niels is a bit more of a settled player straight from match openings. Nick really is quite a nervy character, really. I mean,
yeah.
He's a great friend of mine, but he needs to, I guess, show himself that he's made a few shots on the table in the semifinal.
So I think fair to say then, Rico, that Niels would assume the captaincy in this pair?
I think so, yeah. He's just a little bit more solid, and I think Nick likes it like that as well. I think Nick likes to be Niels's wingman, but honestly, I mean, I guess they both put in 50-50 efforts here in their matches.
Well, they certainly make a great team, with Nick being the prodigy player and the one with the natural talent, and Niels having to work for everything that's ever come his way. I know that Niels just loves to practice for hours on end, and Nick doesn't really like to practice and do drills.
He just likes to bank big checks, and that's exactly what they're looking for here. They've got their eyes on the winner's purse. 60,000 the eventual winners will take home. That's dollars.
Well, they got runner-up last year to the Philippines, and it certainly would be a perfect storyline if they could take it this year. Prior to last year, they had very little success in the World Cup of Pool.
Every time they've had a clear look at the table, it's quite apparent that those back arms are nice and loose, because they haven't put a foot wrong. And that's the reason they've won the last 2 racks. It's a 2-1 lead. Holland, the number 2 seeds, and runners up last year over Austria. Yeah, I was going to say, Ted, we got a swimming pool here. I haven't seen any of the players out in the swimming pool or anything, you know, doing the judo classes that go on here, and quite a facility. Great host venue.
Just on the pool table, Nick Vandenberg. Oh, the one just missed going in the side. And that's a dry break. So the struggles on the break continue for both squads.
Mario looking on right now. 2012 European 10-ball champion. And I think his best years in this sport are ahead of him. Very talented young man.
What a shot. Oh, no.
Well, looks like he may have left.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Niels just went down. I could tell the way Niels came to the table there, even, Ted, that Niels felt like he was going to be able to see this one. That's a little bit unlucky. Well, unlucky for Mario, not so much for Holland.
Yeah, he tried to double the 1 ball and actually leave his cue ball perhaps behind the orange and the black should he have missed it. He did miss it and left a gap in between those balls. There you go. Although he snookered Nick on the blue too, which is hanging over the top right pocket there. Guys, you may receive some. I'll try to keep my commentary unbiased, but you know it's quite hard being a Dutchie myself, so it's going to be hard to keep myself in check. But I'll try my best. Okay, so a kick shot required here, coming off the short rail.
No chance of position though, Rico, is there? Mind you, wants to hit it. He gets it.
Did you say no chance, Jim?
Wow. I take it back. He's got to look at it, doesn't he? He couldn't have hit that kick shot any better off the side cushion and got the cue ball over to the other side of the table. And you bet, he does have a look at this 3.
Well, Rico, your friendship with these guys goes back into the 90s, when, doesn't it? In the early days, when Dutch pool was just on the ascension, and it used to be 8-ball, and it became 9-ball in Holland. And
indeed, yeah. I think I was playing before Nick and Niels maybe ever touched a cue. But then when they came and Alex Lely came and actually started practicing and had trainers or people that were so enthusiastic, Johan and Alex Grunewald from The Hague, and started thinking about the game and how can we actually, you know, how can we master this break? How can we become good at safeties and about all aspects of the game, and not just try to be an organized pool player, and I think that's been our advantage over the last 15 years, and it's really reaped its rewards in countless titles, and I'm very happy to say that Niels is now the world 9-ball champion as well, which is the biggest title in the world.
Oh, nicely done.
Quickly recovers the situation for Holland. One more look.
And he didn't have much time to set himself down there because they had used their extension, so that was a very special shot right there. Yeah, I know the story of Dutch pool inside and out, and you guys have really broken down this game in every aspect, including psychological, even diet, what foods to eat before a match, so you keep your sugar levels at the right levels, and it's amazing what a small country like Holland has accomplished in this sport.
Yeah, I think I was more of the generation that didn't really do that yet, or there wasn't any structure or organization or fanatical people like Johan, and that really wanted to make the game better in the whole country for the players. I was more of the generation also that used to play in the Dutch coffee shops, and where we had tournaments, and you'd just be playing in clouds of smoke. And I'm glad that's not the case anymore. But okay, back to the match. Nick's got an 8-ball with a natural angle to bring his cue ball back for a position on the black, on the 9, and that might give them the 3-1 lead. And what an important lead it might be.
Yeah, they're looking very strong right now. Confident would be the word. The 9 goes 3-1. It's a winner breaks format. So they will be breaking. Got to figure it's about time somebody's going to get a good break shot here.
Well, and this is certainly not what Austria wanted to see, is the Dutch team look on. They're starting to assert themselves. Austria, has to be said, a little unlucky leaving that 1 ball, but it was still a great clearance from Holland.
Well, I fully expect Albin and Mario to not go very far. This has been part of the success of Albin. This past year, he's a grinder, and he just sort of hangs around, and just when you think he's down for the count, he gets back up and unleashes a few combinations of his own.
Niels just waiting for Michaela Tab to set the balls, make sure everything's touching, and Niels will have a quick look.
Well, he's actually checking which balls are touching and which are not touching, because a lot of times either the 2 balls underneath the yellow one, they may or may not be both touching, and that might make him decide to change the side from which he breaks from. He's sticking to the left side. Let's see if he can punch the yellow one into the right side and get his cue ball back to the center of the table for a good shot at wherever the blue ends up. And there you go.
Oh.
Well, that's the best break by far.
Oh, yeah.
Of the second semifinal.
I've watched enough pool. You just knew it was coming. That, after all this effort that they put in, and they were rewarded with their great play with an excellent break. And this is a real chance here to put their mark on this match early on.
And again, put a little bit more distance between them and Austria. And if these guys ever get comfortable and start free flowing, they could run away and hide.
And I just keep going back to that match with Germany yesterday. And Rico, when you come through a match like that where they were down, they really had to grind it out, and then they won 4 in a row to get out. It was a really terrific victory for them. Their confidence must be sky high.
Yeah, I think they're feeling as good as they can feel. I mean, of course, now also with this lead, that makes you feel a lot better. If they would have been 3-1 down, then it would have been a little bit different situation. But yeah, they have come through epic battles, or at least one yesterday. And they're feeling good about their knowledge of the break. Although Niels left Nick a little bit too straight here. I think he's going to have to roll the cue ball straight through. Or Nick is pointing, he wants to make the black in the same pocket he's going to make the brown in. So he's going to stun the cue ball over with a bit of bottom spin.
Yeah, I find it interesting looking at the draw and their path through to the semi-final. Every team that Holland has played has been a European team. And we've already said how strong Niels has been this year. So every one of these teams that Holland's faced, well, they know they're facing the reigning world 9-ball champion and his partner. Possible intimidation.
And it's a team that came within inches of winning this event last year.
And there's no replacement for experience. There you look, and pretty comfortable wins, it must be said, over both Sweden and Switzerland. But Germany pushed them right to the brink.
Then Austria, nice win over Portugal, 7-2. And they barely got by Qatar, 7-5. That was a really tough match, and Austria looked fantastic in taking down China 9-3.
Yeah, China, the number 3 seeds. Austria just dismantled them, didn't they,
Rack 6.
Ted?
Holland to break, leading by 4 racks.
And
to
so
1.
many people favored China to just cruise past Austria. Not so.
Okay, interestingly, in the previous break, Niels made the yellow 1 in the side, but he also made the corner ball, which is now the blue 2. They try to make that in the bottom left of your screen, if that's what you're seeing it as right now. So that was a big advantage. Now he made the yellow 1.
The 2 was heading there, and it got kicked, and the cue ball scratches.
Ball in hand.
Yeah, I don't know if that cue ball got kicked. Let's have, yes, it did. The 2 hit it. So can't possibly legislate for something like that.
No, it's almost, it would almost be more, you'd average having the cue ball hit after the break than it not being hit, I guess, with 9 balls flying around the table. And sometimes it helps you, it kicks you back into the middle of the table, and sometimes it doesn't help you. So I think he's going to play safe here. Lock him up behind the green 6. Now he really wants to get close, as he did, so that the obvious side cushion escapes are taken out of the equation.
And again, where he's put the 2 makes it more important to try and contact this, because they're really going to be handcuffed if they miss this, and they'll be on 2 fouls.
Yeah, now he'd love to come off the right cushion where he's standing right now and load it up with a lot of left spin to make the angle, but I think he might not be able to make it, and he might actually have to come off of 2 or 3 cushions.
Extension.
Very tough hit, this one.
Now he's going to come off 3 cushions and try to hit the short rail where the blue 2 is actually situated last, and then hit the blue 2 from the back. Don't know if there's necessarily much value in that safety-wise, and I don't think he's going to make anything.
Foul shot.
But you know what?
Ball in
Breaking them up
Second
didn't
foul.
hurt. They're on 2 fouls, but everything's in the open now. So if nothing else, Holland has quite likely forced Austria to run through the balls.
And we had a 3 foul situation here 1 or 2 days ago, which I never see on TV anymore.
Yeah, and at this level, rarely. And I think it's been the only one of the event, Canada-Germany. And Canada extracting the 3 fouls from Germany. Didn't avail them anything, though, Rico. They still lost the match.
Yeah.
They just barely lost the match. Your fellow Canadians, Jim, they really should have been in that quarterfinal.
You know, if you remember, though, the 3 fouls is what turned that match around, and all of a sudden Canada got some wind in their sails. And Got a bad miss. That made the plane trip back home to Canada long, didn't it?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Now Albin shot here on the pink 4. In cutting it on the left side and cutting the pink into the pocket, his cue ball wants to travel to the left-hand side of the table, but that's actually not where he wants to be. He wants to keep it kind of in the
Extension.
line where the cue ball is now for position on the orange 5. So he's going to have to hit his cue ball with right spin, which makes the pot pretty unnatural, and so you're going to have to adjust for some deflection, which needs a little bit more skill. Oh, he actually chose to go 2 rails around, but actually I think the 8 might be blocking it. Should do.
Yeah, very strange selection of shots there. I expected him to play it like that, Rico, but with some speed.
Yeah, I think
to
he
come
hit
down and play the 5 to the other corner.
I think he hit it about twice. Should have hit it twice as hard almost.
Now he's got to find cover
Yeah,
or he's
that-
going to leave it.
They're going to have to give up the table.
Yeah, it's not happening for Austria right now.
Boy, they did not execute that exchange well at all.
Now, theoretically, Nick could cut this 5 into the corner pocket, but I think it's going to be hard to get his cue stick out of the way when that cue ball bounces back off of the short cushion to not make a double hit. I think he's going to go for it. This is... nice short stroke. Now, did they get snookered behind the 9? Well, he's going to be able to see some of it. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. It's kind of like the same shot Mario would have had then if they can't make it. I think he can just squeeze it in.
Oh, boy. That was lucky.
Lucky, Ted? Skill.
Yeah, the more you practice, the luckier you get.
Yeah. Wow, and this is a 5-1 as opposed to 4-2. Massive difference in this race to 9, and this is... Holland gets out here. This is just going to put more wind into their sails.
Yeah, this is really going to plan for the Dutch. I mean, you know, had one run out, had a few safety battles they won, 5-1 lead. I mean, you know, that couldn't have started much better. But, you know, and a lot of times you might say this might be over soon. It never happens that way in 9-ball, and definitely not on these matchroom World Pool tournaments. I left the cue ball a little bit stuck onto the cushion. Now he's got position on the 9, but if you're stuck on the cushion like that, you can only see about 20% of the cue ball, and 80% is buried behind the cushion. So it's sometimes hard to judge how thick you're hitting the object ball, since you can't really see the exact left and right middle of your own cue ball.
In the heart of the pocket. And in the heart of this match, the Netherlands in full control. They lead 5-1.
Niels asked Michaela to re-rack the balls. That's the first time she's done it. Let's see if it pays dividends.
Missed the one in the side, but made a pretty wild black 8 that spun down the rail.
You know, superstitious sometimes, but you see another look at the break, and it's worked out very nicely for Holland.
Yeah, because that wasn't the best break, to be honest, and I think it may not have been the tightest rack in the world, but they got fortunate. I mean, sometimes you break perfect and end up with nothing. Sometimes you don't hit them so good. I mean, it's just the balls are round, is what we say in Holland. You know, they do whatever they do sometimes. But what a chance for Holland to really keep this lead going and keeping Austria cold. I mean, that eventually will do something to you if in a tournament like this, like Austria. I mean, they haven't really had a run out in the last 20-25 minutes. I think they've had some kick shots, and that's been it.
I mean, the last half chance they had was when Mario he was looking at banking the 1. So it really just in a poor positional shot from Albin Ocean when the ball was open, and we questioned his positional selection, Rico. But again, you know something, a lot of that manufactured by a premium of table time.
Yeah, so I mean, sorry, the mistakes have been there from Austria to gift some racks to Holland, but Holland have done well to win most safety battles, have shot one run out in not giving Austria a chance at the table in a whole game. And I mean, sometimes you get punished very heavily for little mistakes, and sometimes you can get away with a lot. But you know, these players know they have to put up a certain kind of level to be able to expect something from the match, and Holland are doing so. And Austria, well, they can't really beat themselves over the head because they haven't really played bad.
The confidence level of Holland right now is, it's sky's the limit here. Absolutely amazing. You can just see in their demeanor, their facial expressions, so focused. I think they not only see a spot in the finals, they see the prize, and that's this World Cup of Pool title, which they came so close to winning last year. Of course, a spot in the finals awaits the winner of this match against England.
Well, just to remind you, this looks like going 6 racks in a row to Holland. Austria opened their account in the semifinal, won the first rack, and since then they've spent an awful lot more time in their chairs than at the pool table. (6-1) confirmed here at the Mountbatten Center. Niels and Nick. And poor Albin Ocean, he's going to start thinking, like, do I have to run into Niels Fyen in every major event? Niels accounted for Albin in the finals of the World 9-Ball Championships, Ted, and now it looks like Niels and this time partner Nick Vandenberg are going to account for Albin and his partner in the semis of the World Cup.
The World 9-Ball Championship was alternate break, so at least Albin could get back to the table in that format. But here, winner breaks. Right now, they're just getting comfy in those chairs.
Safe to say no Christmas cards going to be exchanged from Albin to Niels. He's going to start looking where his name is in the draw. And Nick's going to have a little look.
When it rains, it pours. Winning breeds winning, doesn't it?
Yeah, Nick's asked for another rack too. I mean, not easy to get all those balls touching, especially when you're using the triangle.
No, and eventually they're going to have to take what Michaela gives them. She won't be re-racking them until Holland is satisfied with it. Eventually she'll just say, you're going to have to break them. I did as good as I could. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get back to making the yellow one. They didn't do that in the previous rack, so I think they're going to be breaking from the left side of the table, trying to make the yellow one in the side pocket. Cutting the one ball,
6 racks to 1.
and cutting means not hitting it full from where you're coming from, but hitting it about 10-20% to the left if you're looking from the player's view. Trying to draw the cue ball straight to the side rail and back to the center of the table. So let's see if they can make the yellow one in the side.
And the wing ball, and a legal break, and a shot at the 2. Like I said, sometimes just being a little superstitious and just asking for that re-rack allows you to settle your mind, and you just start to expect good things to happen. And when you get into that mindset, they usually do.
I think you can turn out the lights. This party's just about over.
Yeah, but weren't England leading 7-2 against the USA yesterday, and actually should have gone 8-7 down, if I'm not mistaken.
I've seen too much of Niels this year, and he is just so convinced anytime he steps up to the table.
Well, I think he's the, I guess, not always the hardest trainer, I think, but the most prepared. I mean, he knows what these TV tables and the racking situations, they differ from tournament to tournament. Sometimes you aren't allowed to break from as far of the side as they are doing now. Sometimes you have to break from the middle. And he really just practices the whole previous week for the upcoming tournament on whatever the break format is. And he's so used to these brand new TV tables with slippery cloths, which definitely isn't the same as the practice area. As you guys have said, the break works totally differently. So Niels has got to top spin this with top left and bounce the cue ball through to get round for the orange 5. Needs to leave an angle. The angles that we speak of is the problem is if you're straight in on a shot, that's a very easy pot, but you can't really maneuver your cue ball nor left nor right. So you'd like to leave about a 20-30 degree angle on every shot almost to be able to move your cue ball the way you want, and Holland are doing so. So just keeping a very doable pot, but still enough angle on the cue ball. So in this instance, the way they would do it pattern-wise, to punch it into the rail next to the brown 7 and come over for the black. I'm getting a little bit excited here, guys. This is 7-1. I really didn't expect this. I mean, this could have been Austria 7-1 up. I think maybe Holland would have been slight favorites, but I'm very happy to be sitting here commentating on this match, which is going pretty swiftly, but I'm having the feeling something's bound to happen.
No, I'm not. This is a breathtaking performance, and you have a right to be excited because even if you're not partial to either team, this is really good stuff.
I think often it can be said in most sporting events, you know, the semi-finals often prove to be the high-quality matches. Finals tend to be a bit tense affairs with people having the prize in their sight and getting a bit nervous.
Yeah, you don't score many racks sat in your chair. You have to feel a bit for Austria. They have had very few opportunities, and the few that have come their way, they haven't been able to capitalize on. By stark contrast, every small chance that Holland is getting, they're making big time use of. And they know England's out there having a nice snack before the final will take place.
It's really being a nice mission for Holland, really, having lost in the final and coming so close. Should have gone 8-7 ahead, I think, in a race to 10 last year. And, well, it's working out pretty fine to hopefully make amends. You know, it would be a great story to lose in the final and the next year come back and win it. That's pretty strong. But that's way ahead of ourselves. 7-1 to Holland, trying to keep the screws tight on the Austrian team here.
He's got the 1 down, the 4 will drop, and the shot on the 2. They are on fire.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you're playing. When you're breaking like this and you're firing on all cylinders, as Holland obviously are, everybody sits in the chair the same way.
Yeah, I do think they figured out something about the rack that, you know, when it's maybe not, when all the balls aren't touching in some area of the rack, they'll ask for a re-rack, and they're looking for a certain way of racking from Michaela, which has proven successful. I don't know who's racking the balls in the final. Do you guys know?
Not yet.
14 times these two in total have represented Europe in the Mosconi Cup. 8 times for Niels and 6 times for Nick. They have been dominant figures on the European Tour as well. No strangers to team play and the sort of mental makeup required to be successful as a member of a team.
No. This is flawless stuff.
Yeah, really important to keep concentrated because everything is going so smooth that sometimes, because you don't feel the heat of the opponent, and well, you have a 7-1 lead in a race to 9, which is pretty sweet, to keep your concentration and just trying to play the game the way it asks you to play, really. So a nice fairly straight in shot on the 6, but I think he's got just about enough angle to draw it back to the side where he was just standing, to leave a little bit of an angle on the 7 again, because of course the cue ball has to come back up table from the brown 7 to the black 8. So deep screw. Now that's a bit more angle than he would have liked, because in cutting the 7 in, naturally your cue ball would actually roll by the center of the table and roll by your positional area for the black. So you might have to either cut this in very soft or a little bit hard to make the cue ball bounce 2 rails up and down. So that he did, because that just offers a bit of a freer stroke, and you can let your stroke go a little bit more. Now he's rolled a little bit too far. I don't know if Niels can roll this 8 ball in the side. His cue ball is going to go pretty much towards the yellow 9, but will it stop before the 9 and therefore give position, or will it touch the 9 and make things a bit awkward? Because the cue ball being stuck on the rail, there's no way you can hit it below center to screw it to manipulate position. Oh, he's going to hit it.
Not bad. Not bad at all. And this is going to take them to the hill.
Nick is very pumped here. He really wants to keep this high level performance up, and he's really excited. I can see it in his eyes.
So to the hill they arrive. Holland 8-1 in front of Austria. A command performance. And it looks like the dark horses of the event, certainly to this stage, their run looks like coming to an end.
Yeah, and there is a world title up for grabs here today, and I mean, these players, this is all they fight for.
You can see how everything is unfolding here. You saw the quarterfinal results there on the left. We've had England already through to the finals, awaiting the winner here, looking an awful lot like it's going to be Holland. You never, ever say never, but it's an awful long way back for Austria in this semi-final.
Rack 10, Holland to break, leading by 8 racks to 1.
4 out of the last 5 racks have been breaking runs for Holland.
It would be amazing if they could break and run out again. That would really that would cap an amazing performance. So let's see if they can keep their consistent break going. Cut the yellow 1 in the side, cue ball back to the center of the table, and hope for a position on the blue 2.
2 ball down. It's a legal break. 8 ball down just in time. The 8 ball went down, and that leaves the 1 wide open.
Yeah, and the 3 over the other corner too, Ted. I think you can sharpen your pencil here.
And this is certainly going to be one of the questions that we will ask them after this match about that break. How exactly did they figure this out? What do they know that nobody else does?
I mean, I'm almost feeling like Holland have got too many shots after the break already.
Any specific thing in the lake?
Now Nick has to spin his cue ball 3 rails around and keep it in the middle, but he's going to roll too far and snooker. Gets snookered. Oh, so you need to get position on the pink 4. Well, that's not a jumpable shot either, so Niels is going to be looking at kicking at this, hitting it cushion first. A few ways he can do it. He's just looking at which option either gives him the best chance of making it or gives him the best chance to get a good safety after. It's a bit difficult with the 4 being so in the open. And
yeah, realistically though, Rico, I mean, this is nothing more than trying to hit it and get it safe. I mean, if for some you know, some strange quirk of events here, it happened to fluke this for, you know, that's exactly what it would be. You know, something freaky. This is just trying to hit it and get it safe. And
But that is the way you wanted to hit it, and his speed and hit has been good.
Tremendous effort. That one from Niels. Mario's smiling. Well,
Who are these guys?
just remind me of the rules again. Yeah, you got to like their approach.
So they can hit the pink 4 on the left side. I think they can see about 10% of it. But in hitting it on the left side, you're just going to send it towards the top right corner pocket, and that's not really what they want to do. So they might opt to hit it cushion first anyway. I think he might be able to make it.
Yeah, they've used their extension, so
He's got to go.
Goes offensive, and they certainly will be penalized for that. You can, as Jim likes to say, get that pencil out.
Yeah, it's not often you can say as a pool player you're going to appear in a World Championship final, and well, both of these teams really battling so hard to try and get there, but really Holland have made very few or no errors. Have been pretty fortunate on the break. I'm almost thinking they've had all their fortune on the break and they might not get any in the final. I hope this is not the case. So Niels is going to draw his cue ball back to the side cushion, which pretty much gives him position on the green 6.
Yeah, it doesn't always continue these incredible runs, especially when the pressure and tension of the final comes into play. But they, considering that they came so close last year, and I love the way when they lost last year, they never whined about anything and about, oh, we could have done this. They were all smiles afterwards, and they just had a great attitude, and they've had a great attitude this year. And this 9-ball for a spot in the finals for Holland, where they will play Team England in a race to 10, and the winner will win the World Cup of Pool. Okay, we'll have a word with our winners when we come back after this.
Contrasting semi-finals at the Betway World Cup of Pool this afternoon. The first was keenly contested. Holland, though, were runaway winners. They lost the first rack, won the next 9. And Jim is with them.
Here with a couple very happy gentlemen right now. And boys, second trip to the dance. Was it going to be a little different this time?
What's going to be different? We're playing England this year, which will be tougher because it's their home country. And yeah, we are more experienced now. Last year was for us, it was a bit of a surprise. We got to the final. We never played the final. And this year we come in as a finalist.
How do you use that experience from last year and make it work for you this year, Niels?
Well, I think we've been there before now. We know what to expect. We also know that we got to get our rest now because we have a long match ahead of us. It's a race to 11. It's not race to 7 or 9 anymore, so it's going to be a long stretch. You know, just do what we've been doing. We played a real solid match this one, and just stay composed and take off where we left.
You obviously know Darren and Carl intimately, and any sort of game plan that you're going to take into that final?
Break and run racks. That's what we did this match. We ran, I think we ran 4 from 4-1 up till 8-1. It was a pity we didn't run the last one. We had to play one safety in between. But yeah, we played solid. And if you keep making balls on the break like this, you got a real good chance.
I mean, you can't possibly prepare for a match that's going to go as one way as this did, though, Niels.
No, but I mean the previous match we broke almost the same and we never got a shot. We had to push out 4 or 5 times, and this time we broke as well, but we got open chances. And then you start getting momentum, confidence. The train starts rolling, and then you see what happens. Then we can show our speed. So.
You came to Portsmouth. You knew you were runners-up last year. You knew you wanted to go one better this year, didn't you?
Yeah, of course. You always want to win the tournament when you come there, but it's tough. There's so many great teams, and it's so nice to be in the final again.
You broke so well, too. Did you work on your break up in the practice table?
Well, it's no secret. We break like this on the European circuit, and we just had phone contact in the weeks before. We said, we've got to work on this break, right? We've got to time it well, because if both guys are breaking well, then you can steamroll. Because if one guy's breaking weak, then you stop the train. If both guys are breaking well, you could just run racks forever, kind of. So I think this year we're breaking better than last year, because both of us were breaking really good.
Well, congratulations again, guys. Tonight it's going to be Holland versus England.